Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again. This is just a continuation of my Shelter in Place podcast season from Miguel's Moment Plus One. I had a chat with Matt Macedo. He's a really cool person, so I hope you guys enjoy this conversation. Have a good day. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man? How you been?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, just enjoying this quarantine life again.
Surviving. Yeah.
Yeah. Where you at, man? Are you still down in LA?
I am in LA. Yeah, I'm in Burbank specifically, where I graduated school from. The school was here in Burbank, and so I just kind of stayed around. But it sucks, because I graduated last September and
Mm-hmm.
everything all the shit hit the fan this year, so kind of haven't really had the chance to do anything, but it's all good.
So what are you doing as far as like work right now?
Job that pays the bills is real estate photography. And so for that, I go to like houses and apartments and places like that and kind of just shoot the property. I kind of have a multiple, like I have one Canon 60D and then they gave me a Theta, like a camera that shoots in 360. So
Mm-hmm.
those
Oh
are
yeah,
fun.
for those like virtual tours kind of thing.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
I've seen that's being very widely used these days because I have a few friends here in Paso. They share that those projects too. It's pretty cool because like you can kind of like see, oh, I'm gonna walk this way in the house in the virtual tour, and you can see like how big the house is because it's hard to tell from like just 2D pictures.
No, it's true, yeah. And they used to do them, but they kind of phased out times. They really came right back into demand to do
Oh
them.
yeah,
So
because less one-on-one at the moment, trying to lessen the risks out there for COVID getting
absolutely.
sick.
Yeah. Wash your hands, folks. No, wear your mask.
Yeah, no, wash your hands, which is weird because like at the beginning of this whole thing, the things that they were telling us to do, they were like, wash your hands, make sure get some sun, make sure you take your vitamin, all this stuff, and you're just like, wait, people weren't doing that, like,
There's so many conspiracy theories behind what this whole thing could be,
oh, absolutely.
and it's like, of course there is, but yeah, just go with the flow.
Well, you being in a more, popular area, like over here in Slow County, it's pretty quiet. We're still being affected, obviously, because, every county is now shut down again. But
Yeah,
like,
same.
yeah, but down there, were you guys shut down pretty much the entire time, or were you guys open at least for a short period of time?
I think we opened it up a little bit, but not long. We kind of shut right back down. Nothing, I mean, movie theaters were never opened. I know
Right.
that much. We never got all the way open again. But in terms of, and that really sucks too for the movie or for the theater industry here. Like, I don't know how they're going to survive this whole thing. But that was one episode that I was going to actually go over and do soon on my podcast,
Oh
Film
yeah.
Directing with Matt Macedo. We are going to kind of talk about, I talked about it once before, but I didn't really like the recording all that much.
Hmm.
And so I scrapped it and I wanted to do another one. But
Yeah.
kind of how this whole time really cemented Netflix and streaming services into the future, you
Oh
know?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the stock and pretty much anything that is like home-based product, just skyrocketed. We got Roku, Netflix, all these like public companies on the stock market that were doing pretty well. And I mean, I don't know if Netflix just happened to have all this stuff like, on the back burner or on, on later release dates, but I've noticed they have some pretty good stuff right now.
Yeah, they just dropped The Old Guard and
Dude, that was
it was really
sick.
good. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I mean the ending kind of I knew the villain. I'm assuming she's gonna be a
Oh,
villain.
yeah, I was kind of like, oh shit, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're
Well, yeah,
like,
because they said a lot of things in the movie, but didn't necessarily say it. They're like, yeah, over 500 years, to feel that kind of pain and anger. You mean she's still stuck down there? What the fuck?
yeah. Well, I mean,
It's
they kind of let the audience assume that they were kind of still stuck down there, and so that was a huge shock to see that they were kind of up, because it's like
Yeah,
who the hell got them out? And I think that's why they had that ending. Obviously, is to see what kind of reaction it would have, and if there's
yeah.
enough, want
Well,
for
the
a
weird thing
sequel.
is, yeah, the weird thing is with their dreams, it's like current. So they're dreaming of somebody else, one of them or somebody else in this, similar situation where they're immortal. They feel each other's pain currently. So up until 6 months prior to that ending, she was still underwater. So something happened after that guy got kicked out of the group.
Oh, you're right. You're
Until
right. Yeah, because
remember,
well,
yeah.
because
So
they had the
something
dream
happened the 6 months, yeah,
when she
because they
got
have
cut.
dreams of each other. Exactly. So she's still down there when the new recruit happened.
Interesting. Unless they were like, you know what, it's like a constant itch that you just forget about. It's like, it's a thing.
Well, possibly kind of like if the main one had like post traumatic stress and she dreamt about it, kind of thing. Everybody else would feel it, maybe. But I don't know, man. The way they made it sound like is she was literally still down there because
I
they
would
said they
have,
spent years trying
I
to find her.
like, I kind of assumed too in that moment because they said, and I guess this is somewhat of a spoiler alert that you could
Yeah.
only die a certain number of times as you're an immortal, and then you're not immortal
Hmm.
anymore. So I figured that's what happened, that she just kept dying over and over and over and over again, that she just eventually died her final time. And so I
Right.
assumed that at some point. But yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they feel like they could do a sequel. I don't think it's a film that could have a sequel. I feel like
You,
people
you know,
usually,
yeah, that's one of the shows where I'm thinking, if they make a TV series out of this.
yeah, they could. And that's the thing when people usually pitch shows, they want to pitch content that can have a sequel, that can have merchandise, and that can have a following and its own universe even. Because
Longevity.
I mean that
Yeah.
just means more money for the company or for the distributors and all of that. But
Exactly. Why do you think they redid the whole X-Men cast? They want to
yeah,
continue merchandising.
yeah, that's true. So I got into it with my DP Adrian recently, who really pushed me to see Star Trek for the first time because I've never seen
The
anything
like the new trilogy Star Trek or the old and
old
then
stuff. So like
continue.
Next Generation,
Ah,
yeah.
got it.
And so I watched one episode, but it's just not my stuff. I couldn't get into it, unfortunately.
Well, I watched it back when I was in high school. I watched the reruns for I can't remember which one's which. I know the captain was like the redhead,
The,
and for Star Trek, but to me it didn't register as Star Trek. It registered me as like this spaceship that they were just encountering because they got lost in space almost. Not to put a pun on the other show called Lost in Space, but like I remember watching it, and then later on, somebody told me, like, "Oh yeah, that's Star Trek." I'm like, "Oh really? The entire time I've been watching Star Trek, I didn't realize it."
oh
Then
damn,
again, I was just a teenager. It was one of those shows that I killed time back in the day. When I was ditching school or staying up late.
oh dang.
Um, yeah, well, it wasn't that bad, but kind of like everybody watched Roseanne, but they didn't watch it like originally because they were just watching reruns or George Lopez at night.
Oh, that's
Remember?
true. Yeah,
You know, the, all
I was
yeah.
watching Dexter.
Well, actually, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are rewatching it right now because I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but I remember seeing it somewhere
Yeah, I think
or
so.
Hulu. But apparently, The Office, which is one of I think I watched it like 3 times already,
Have you?
the entire thing,
Wow.
and I really want to watch it again because apparently it's going to be taken off of Netflix next year.
Oh wow. No,
Yeah, I know.
that
So
sucks.
at some point there'll be a spike in how many people are watching it, and you'll see, that number 1 through 10, the top 10 movies and shows on Netflix. I bet you that's gonna be back up there again at some point
I
because of
was
that fact.
I was so happy to see Avatar: The Last Airbender trending as #1 when it came
Oh
out.
yeah, you know what's funny? It's like I get on TikTok and I see all these kids like, oh my god, did you guys notice this? Did you guys notice that? It's like, oh, he's a badass, blah blah blah, and I'm like, you guys aren't the original fans, like,
No, yeah, I'm happy.
like
I welcome them.
yeah.
I'm very happy that they found the show for the beauty that it is, because it is
Oh yeah.
it's a masterpiece of a show.
Well, it's surprising because I mean it's not surprising because I remember watching it. I just loved it, but it talks a lot about like current situations,
Oh yeah,
like it's like politics and racism and ageism and all that stuff. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
it was a show. Yeah, kind of. You would think of it kind of ahead of its time, but because they had very strong female leads and
Hmm.
beautiful action and great story arcs and characters and everything else. But the film does not exist.
I know the film does not
The film
exist.
does not exist.
Yeah, God, I remember being in the auditorium. I was so stoked. I was like, "Oh, I'm ready." There was so much promotion behind Nickelodeon put so much promotion behind it.
Yeah,
You saw them on TV appearances, all this stuff. That's pretty much that's what you need to do to get that movie out there. And then people were sitting in the auditorium, were like, "Are you kidding me?"
it was
His
one of the
name
only
is
times
not
I wanted to
Ong.
leave. Oh yeah, yeah. Just right off the bat, it's like, huh? Yeah. I don't know what they were even thinking when doing
Yeah.
that. I don't know what they were thinking. And I know they had the original creators had a, you know, what we call a creative difference, and so they
Oh,
left
oh,
the set.
really?
Yeah, they weren't. They were part of the original film, but then they left, and then Nickelodeon continued the film
Uh,
without them, and so it makes sense that it's so terrible. But the Netflix, or the live action that they're redoing or coming out with is with the original people, with the
oh,
original,
seriously?
yeah, with the original composer, everyone.
Hmm.
And so
Well,
one incredibly sad thing that I also learned about the show was that the voice of Uncle Iroh, he passed. He
oh,
passed away
yeah,
while filming, and so
yeah.
somebody else took over. It's like, oh, damn.
I know that's the crazy part. I remember, like, he had a lot. His character was like
My favorite
so
one.
well. I know he was so well rounded altogether, and like he even like when his comeback when he was in prison and he like starts working out
Yeah, and
in
that
those episodes.
I don't know if you remember that. He like never said a word while he was in jail. That whole like first few episodes, and that was out of respect because for his family because he passed away. Like they kept him quiet and never had anybody doing his voice yet until he
Wow,
absolutely needed to. But yeah, um,
I did not know that.
I have such a connection with the show. I don't think I'll get a tattoo. You know, I think a mutual friend of ours got a tattoo, which is so badass. But um, I think what I have gotten is a kalimba, which is the musical instrument that was used to make the main, kind of the main Avatar Love title theme.
Hmm.
So that's like kind of one thing that I got
Is
to have
is
this
is
connection to it.
is it like that guitar type?
It's basically a finger piano, like a thumb piano.
Ah,
Yeah. And so it's pretty interesting. I would play it right now, but it wouldn't sound
it,
very well.
yeah, probably wouldn't give it justice. No,
No. And
it's
so
okay.
definitely, yeah,
I'm sure.
definitely. I don't know if you could edit these things, you could splice in some sort of like the audio from YouTube or something, but it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
exactly the sound, the instrument that he used.
Well,
And
I might
so,
I might get that sound. I don't. I'm still learning how to splice all this stuff together because I'm going off of the phone. So I'll learn if I can at least pull the audio and upload it at the end. For those listening, they can wait until the end or fast forward, whatever they want
oh
to do.
sure. Or even a YouTube link in the description. They
Yeah,
could click on their phones and watch
yeah.
it.
There you
But
go.
it is, yeah, it's a beautiful. It's not that expensive too. It's like $30 to get off Amazon, and you can do that song and the "Leaves from the Vine," which is the song that the
Ah, yeah,
actor
yeah,
wrote.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
remember hearing that again. That was a really good song. I liked it.
cried, dude. I cried. I sobbed. That show just affects me on a whole other level.
Yeah. So you mentioned you have a podcast too. How many episodes you got recorded? Like, have you been doing it for a while?
Oh God, yeah. I kind of started early pandemic. I
Hmm.
kind of love how that's like a time frame now.
Yeah.
Pre pandemic, post pandemic. But yeah, I started in the early days, and yeah, and it's still kind of just a hobby. It's not anything that I devote a lot of time to or
Yeah.
anything. But it's called Film Directing with Matt Macedo,
Hmm.
and kind of have friends of mine on there, and we just chat about film. We chat about certain things. So like one of my good friends, Dedaloo, he will come on and we'll talk about like psychology and the director and kind of how directors really use psychology and are kind of like a psychologist in their own way,
Hmm.
um, in a way. And then I have another one where a filmmaker kind of uses trauma that he gone through for his films, for his documentary films, and so that would be a kind of just really interesting topics. You know, I had Steven Bernstein. He's a director and cinematographer. He did the films. Um, he's an Oscar winner, I think, but he did the ones that are going to make people go like, "Oh, cool!" He was a cinematographer for Scary Movie 2, for like White Chicks, for Waterboy. So
Uh,
like a lot of these, 90s or early 2000s classic films that are like, "Oh wow,"
yeah.
he was all part of those. And so it was fun to kind of have him on and chat about his experience and his relationship with the Wayans brothers and kind of all of that. But yeah, I've been kind of keeping myself somewhat busy after school. Um, I just recently kind of started a working collaboration with a company that produces music videos, and so they contract out directors. So basically, whenever they get a hit for or a music video, they'll send directors the lyrics and the song to listen to, and then directors will make a video music or a music video pitch to
Hmm.
make, and then we'll basically pitch it off, and then whoever the artist likes gets chosen, and bam, you're the director of this music video. You just go on with it. So
That reminds me of like a TV show or something, like some sort of baller or something show, or Mad Men, where you're pitching into your idea, trying to win the client.
really, I need to see all these shows. It sucks that I don't really watch too many movies or shows actually, which really sucks. I need to, but those shows that I am in love with, especially on Netflix, are like Ozark and
Hmm.
other ones like Better Call Saul when that one comes back on.
Hmm.
Another good one's called The Sinner. It's kind of like an anthology. It's kind of different every season, but somewhat linked. Um, that's a great one. I really recommend.
The Sinner. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm running out of shows. I've watched quite a few of them already. There's this Canadian show called Working Moms I watched.
Oh, nice.
It's on Netflix. I put it on just to like, for shits and giggles and see what it's about. And then all of a sudden I just found myself binge watching with the wife. And
Oh,
we were just
cool.
like, watching the entire thing. Like, oh my God, what's next?
Oh, cool.
Some shows are fairly surprising and entertaining.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got going on Ozark. There was a lot of repetition though. Like every time they almost make it or like are in the clear, something happens, which I don't know why, but that bugs me in the show.
Really?
Um,
That kind of format.
yeah, a little bit, yeah. Because ever since Barry Allen in the Flash, every time they they beat a foe, somebody else comes in that's faster than him.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why I don't know if you heard the news that this next season is going to be their final season.
Mm,
Yeah,
I
and
did
so
not.
I don't know if how long they could keep that formula up, and so I think they definitely are going to they're going to write a nice little end to it.
Yeah, well, the interesting is like with their formula, like something just keeps happening, or somebody's a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. Like if you see Legends of Tomorrow, they've also used time travel as a
Mhm.
part of their plot, and now Agents of Shield, which is different, universe obviously, they also came back out with a season where they're time traveling as well.
Oh wow, that's
Isn't
pretty.
that crazy? Like
Yeah.
everybody's talking about time travel, and then on top of that, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the Umbrella Academy
No, I haven't seen it.
time travel is also used in that show, and it's weird because like didn't wasn't there an article on Facebook somebody talking about time travel or some sort of like weird loop or that they found like evidence of time travel?
So weird theory. What if time travel does become like eventually existing, and we are time traveling right now? Like in
Oh
your
yeah,
own little universe, you have time traveled back to re-experience your life.
yeah. What if time travel is just another interpretation of your life flashing before your eyes before you
Yeah,
pass away?
before you die. And all of this, it seems like you're reliving an entire life's worth of life, and it's in a split second. Who knows?
All of a sudden, we just get a phone call, FBI. Oh shit, or CIA.
We know.
No,
Once
yeah,
you
going
have
down the.
once you have psychedelics, you have broken through the barrier.
Oh, sweet Jesus. No, usually like when I'm hanging out with a friend at 3 a.m. in the morning, we're just still like chatting it up and whatnot. I get that little delirious kind of convo mindset kind of thing, and you start talking about all these crazy things like ghosts and aliens and time travel and pretty much anything like beyond the scope of our logical imagination.
Yeah. No, there's crazy stuff out there. There's videos that friends have shown me that about like 13 dimensions, and it's like, huh? You know, it gets to a point where I don't even like it starts to hurt my brain like listening to it, and so
Yeah.
I don't even I check out. But
Well, yeah. After a while, you get a little like, oh, really? That's a little too convenient that you have that as evidence and whatnot. For me, it's more like if there's there's this like hard evidence. There's this a little I can't remember if it was a Egyptian tomb or something, or they found the Egyptian pharaoh, and he happened to be like holding a watch, apparently a Swiss watch
oh,
made from later on or something like that. I can't remember where they found the damn watch, but I know they were like, yeah, Swiss didn't start making watches until 19, and then this tomb is 300 years old or whatnot.
who knows, dude? Like, who really knows? Like, I mean, the ocean is so unexplored still that
Hmm.
who knows if we eventually find like I mean, it's all kind of washed away and eroded by now, but
Hmm.
I mean, even in terms of the future, I mean, I'm sure hundreds of thousands of years from now, I mean, LA's not going to be here. I mean, water's going to be washed up, and the Sierra
Hmm.
Nevada mountains are going to be coastline pretty much. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly the way just the world works. And we're just witnessing a snapshot. We're here just witnessing what it's going to do no matter what. But
Yeah.
it's a crazy world, man. It's trying to kill us. Early pandemic days were great. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When everybody was shut down, I mean, not that, but when no traffic on the road, like that was great.
Yeah, yeah. You start seeing all these like articles like, oh, the dolphins are swimming back in the Gulf of
The
Mexico.
dolphins are stinging.
Oh,
What the fuck? Yeah,
that'd be crazy because they are intelligent.
yeah,
Um, but like, and then the fish are returning to the waters of what's it called, Italy, or I can't remember where it was.
yeah. Venice or whatever. Yeah,
Venice. Yeah,
one of them
they
places.
were. Yeah, it was clear where to the point where you could see fishes in there, and
And I
I'm
mean,
like, oh,
in all
Jesus.
fairness, too, a lot of people said that was just because there's no turbulence from all the boats going around, which I mean
Oh
makes
yeah,
sense. But
yeah.
in terms of pollution, I mean that's just it
Hmm.
was a clear difference.
Yeah, there was yeah, when you have that stick that they push the boat with, it's obviously pushing all that dirt and sand around at the bottom. Yeah, no, I get that part, but I just like I never knew there was fishes down there to begin with.
Oh, I know. That's why it's so. I don't even go like floating in the lake anymore because
Hmm.
just something brushing up against your foot while you're floating is just I could not.
You so when you went floating though, was it just a float or like did you have a beer on your left hand and holding your phone on the right hand kind of thing?
No, it was always just afloat, and unfortunately, there have been some times where the water has been too low, and
Mm.
the stream has gone too low. There was a time where I floated for like 4 hours, pure sun the entire time, and that was not fun.
Sweet Jesus. Well, I
Yeah,
remember going floating once. I got sunburned, of course, but we. I don't know like if there should be more water or less water, but I remember being on there and all of a sudden rocks. Like my foot touched a rock under the water, and then all of a sudden I just hear.
oh shit.
so, so we had to, we had to stop early, I believe. I think we made it all the way to the end. I can't remember, but I just
Living,
remember that thing was flat.
yeah, and living in the valley, that's like one of the only fun things to do, and it's so
Hmm.
sketchy. I think it shouldn't be allowed anymore, but I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm like, it was I didn't have so many great experiences. I think I had more negative experiences than positive, and so it's kind of one of those things. I think I've kind of checked at. Those It's one of those things I wouldn't do again. I think,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I got it out of my system. At least I've done it before.
Yeah.
One thing that I've
Speaking,
never done is being
uh,
on a plane. I haven't been on a plane yet.
seriously,
No, and
that's
so like
crazy.
I know it's so crazy.
Well, the first time I got on a plane was when I was, I want to say 23 or 24, and I was telling everybody, like, yeah, I've never been on a plane. It's like, you've never been on a plane, and they were talking it up as if there's gonna be turbulence and all that stuff. I was just flying from Fresno to Las Vegas for a convention.
Oh, really?
But yeah, so it's like a 45-minute flight. But I remember getting on there and I was like so nervous. And the plane takes off and it was nice and smooth. And the plane glides over, the mountains and stuff like that. It was
Yeah.
so smooth. And then the pilot, does this weird circle thing, like kind of like eagles do, but like to land. So and then next thing you know, the land is right there because that's how fast we were dropping. But she made it feel like it was nothing,
Oh, wow.
and then she lands and everything. And on my way out, I'm like, "Can you tell the pilot, amazing job? It was so smooth. I was so surprised." But then you see these movies and TV shows where like everybody's like jumping up and down in their seat because turbulence and like forcing them to like not be, stay in their seat and whatnot. And I'm like, maybe I just need to go on a longer flight or something, or more flights. But it wasn't bad at all. And they kept referring roller coaster. So it's like a roller coaster. I'm like, what? I hate roller coasters.
Yeah. I mean, the only other time I've been on yeah, that's what a friend of mine told me, is that it kind of feels like a roller coaster kind of taking off.
Yeah.
Um, but, I've never been to Six Flags. I've never been to any of those other, crazy ones. Just only Knott's Berry Farm is the only
Mm.
uh, amusement park that I've been to, which was kind of fun. It
Where
had the world's oldest, like, or not, probably not the world's oldest, California's oldest roller coaster. It was like all made out of wood. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
yeah, I would question the stability of that roller coaster with the title "oldest" on it if it did have the title. It's like, when's the last time this has been checked?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if it is still in operation anymore. Actually, who knows? But it's a nice place.
Yeah. Now, have you gone to Disneyland?
Oh, that's another one. I haven't been to. Yeah, I have. I have been there and California Adventure, but think it was raining because my parents waited till the cheap
Uh,
season to go.
yeah.
They waited till they were cheap, and so it was raining. And I guess in California Adventure, there's that Mickey Mouse roller coaster, right? There's like a house or a roller coaster that has like the shape of Mickey Mouse's ears on it or something. Where they
Oh
do
yeah. No, I opted out of that one. I am just not great at roller coasters. I got on Magic
well.
Mountain and I was shaking.
Oh wow, really? Well, on
Hmm.
that roller coaster, it froze on people like right before the right before that loop. It just stuck. It got stuck. So I was like, nope, not doing that one.
Wait,
And
on the same day you went?
oh yeah, that one got stuck. Then on at Disneyland, I waited 2 hours in line for Splash Mountain, and then that ride broke down right before we were about to go on. And so that's why
Oh,
I'm
that's a
like
sign.
removed that experience from my life until you mentioned, have you ever gone to Disneyland? I'm like, oh yeah, actually I have.
You blocked it
If
out,
I
like, dude. That sounds
blocked
like
it out.
that's that's like signs right there. Like, oh, maybe I should write this one. Sorry, that's out of order. What happened? We don't know. Something abnormal. Oh,
It's just it's
uh,
craziness. But
no, yeah, I remember the first time I went to Magic Mountain. I think I was like 2021, and I didn't know. Again, I'm not great at roller coasters. I even at the California Mid State Fair, I tend to stick to like the low, low to the ground kind of rides. And I remember getting on there. It's like, oh, this shouldn't be too bad, right? It's like, no, it's bad. It's not that bad. I get in there, it's dark, right? And why didn't it tell me it was going to be an incline for like a good 2 minutes?
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, is this a roller coaster? They're like, yeah, but it's fine. I'm like, what? Next thing you know, left turn, right turn, down, up. I'm pretty sure we went upside down. I don't remember. I'm not sure if that has a loop or anything like that. But then we got out, and I'm like, it was a good thing it was dark, because if I would have seen where those angles were coming from, I probably would have thrown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, I've never gotten like nauseous or thrown up from anything like that. But from motion sick or anything, luckily, no.
Oh, surprisingly, for some reason, if I'm not driving or I'm in the if I'm in the passenger side or on the back seat, I don't get nauseous until I start like looking down from the road. Like, let's say I'm on my cell phone or something.
Really?
All of a sudden, I don't know why, because that movement of the car a little bit, and then I'm trying to focus on texting or going on Facebook, I start getting nauseous. So I always insist, let me drive. I'll drive. It's okay. I'd rather drive.
Yeah. Have you ever been in an accident or anything like that while driving?
So one time I was driving up this hill, and I realized it was the wrong hill. So
Oh,
instead of going to the top of the hill and turning around, making a U-turn, I decided to go backwards back down the hill
oh
to,
no.
and I forgot that there was a slight right turn. So on the left side, I started going down the side of the hill, or and I landed all the way to the other side of the road after, I reached the bottom of the hill, and then I had friends in there with me, and I was like, dang, that could have been worse. I could have flipped the car or something. And I was just like, and it was dark though. I just remember my friend going, Miguel, the car's turning, and I was just like, oh shit. And I was just roll down the hill and roll across the road at the bottom and then land on the other side.
Wow. That's crazy.
That was
That's
fun.
intense.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure a couple of my friends didn't have their seatbelts on, and that's why I always tell them to put their seatbelts on now, just in case.
Just in case when my ass is driving, you just in case when I have your seatbelt on.
No, I'm not taking off unless you put a seatbelt on. And then at the same time, if you throw trash out the window, I'm stopping the damn car so you can go pick up that trash.
Oof. Hell yeah.
Like, who does that? I've seen people. I'll be behind certain cars, and I'll just see them like cigarette butt or
Oh wow.
a piece of trash or something. It makes you wonder, like, we are in California, right? All these fires and stuff. You'd think people would be a little bit more aware, but
Yeah, you would think, but no.
so tell me more about this podcast. Like, how often do you record?
I haven't even recorded in a while.
No,
To be honest.
same here.
Actually,
Same here.
it's been like the whole since it was like before George Floyd and all of that. It's been like months, or even like a month before all that happened, and yeah, it's been a while. And so, I mean, even now, I've just been like I said, I wasn't really it's still just a hobby, and so whenever I have free time, I'll probably get right back into it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I told myself. I was like, yeah, when I have free time, I'll get back into it. But if you like, that's the new like delivery system I see. Is like everybody's doing podcasts now. Even like
Everybody and their grandmother.
I know, even celebrities, like celebrities are making their own podcasts, and they're calling it random things like two guys in a garage with a beer, like whatever.
I kind
And
of
I'm
low
like,
key want to do one with my grandma. Like that'd be so much fun because she talks mad shit about people, and just to like, yeah, I mean, because it is kind of funny saying,
hmm
everybody and their grandma is doing one because it's kind of true. Everybody has joined the podcast game, and I mean, that'd
yeah.
be hilarious to have some, she's 82 years old and she's just talking mad shit because who cares now.
Oh yeah, I mean, what are they gonna do? Just
You can't cancel an
penalize
82-year-old.
it.
Not cancel an 82-year-old.
It's like, you can't do that. Why not? It's like, Yeah, I mean, I guess the excuse you can use for her too is like if she goes out of line or something, it's like, well, she's from a different time, you know.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
she's from a different era. That's typically what the excuse is. Imagine our grandchildren what they're gonna be saying about us. Oh, they're from a different era.
yeah. They're gonna
It's
probably be
gonna be.
freaking out about why we wash our hands so much and why
Oh yeah,
they're just so yeah.
I've seen some videos where they're talking about like, hey mom, so we're doing this thing in history class and they want us to go over a specific time. It's like, oh yeah, what time? It's like the year 2020, and you just see like post traumatic stress video, flashback background, war noises, and toilet paper images appearing in their head.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like, oh my god, I can only imagine like 40 years from now what they're gonna be saying. Hey, so what was 2020 like? Well, that was the day we never ran out of toilet paper.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be, yeah, Charmin commercials are gonna cause PTSD for people.
Yeah, exactly. Charmin, and then there was something else that there was a shortage of. Oh, yeast, because everybody started baking at their house instead.
Oh yeah, there was a whole phase of people making bread. The bread
Yeah.
phase. There's so many phases. The murder wasp phase, the
Oh yeah.
bread phase,
The aliens, man, they released 3 videos.
and we're like, cool. We're like, what's
Yeah,
next?
everybody's like, yeah. We don't want to. Yeah. Oh wow, there's 3. Aliens exist or whatever the conversation was, and all of a sudden, like, wait, hornets? What? No way.
Yeah, it was just one thing after another. But I mean, the murder hornets thing was always kind of just a fluke because they found one dead one. There was never even a group or never one even alive. So
Serious?
yeah, so there was never really anything to worry about with that. But the media just loved the attention of it,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. The media is something I really. I'm not the biggest fan of the media these days because even when I was a little kid, I just remember like my parents being so worried all the time. Every time they got on the media, it's because they don't really share good things. They are like, oh my god,
Yeah,
you know,
it's constant.
deportation. They talk about deportation. They talk about like this killer who's states away, but for some reason, wow, we got to be careful over here. Um, you know, all this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't have really good memories of growing up. I don't have good memories of watching the news.
Yeah, me neither. And I just have a lot of memories of watching Cops growing up.
Okay,
I
okay,
watched,
okay. That show was pretty good.
watching Maury, watching Jerry Springer, and
The cop episode was brought back recently, and I remember it clear as day. Was the time where this lady flags down a cop from her neighborhood and says, "Hey, this woman stole $20 from me." He goes, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, he stole 20." He's like, "No, I didn't get no, I didn't steal no $20." She's like, "She wanted to buy crack." I was like, "Yeah, but she gave me fake crack." And I'm like, "Oh my
oh my God.
god."
And you see, it's like, so everybody, or these shows are basically canceled now,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
I'm on both sides. I'm a very independent thinker, right? And politically too, I'm
Hmm.
very independent. So I
Hmm.
just, I stay out of it, but I observe both sides for what they are. And so I see why they've canceled them is because it portrays people constantly in a negative light. And um, it's like they just edit together. It's like primarily people of color, but also, that crazy little white hillbilly in there once every now and then.
Yeah.
Um, and it's very just sticking to it just constantly is stereotypes. And so I see why they canceled it because also recently watching it with my grandma, she had to describe every race along with what they were doing,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, yeah, I kind of understand why, this is why they want to cancel it. And on the other side, I'm also like, hey, this is a tutorial of what not to do at the same time. It's like telling you what not, hey, maybe you shouldn't, you know, buy crack and, you know,
Yeah.
and, complain about receiving bad crack to the cops.
Well, well with social media now, it's like everything that has on the cop show and Jerry Springer, the same stuff is being shown on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. It's transitioned to somewhere else, but the person with the camera is anybody with the phone now.
I have been so tempted recently to just delete the apps off my phone
Hmm.
and try to really go back to pre-social media and, trying to break out of that cycle. But I know it's going to be very difficult, very
Yeah.
difficult. I mean, because I'm not on social media just to even talk to anybody. I mean, I'm there for watching memes and, just laughing. And I think it's such a huge waste of time. And, and also just like there's constantly some video that you see that is just manufactured, you know. It's fake and it's meant to get some sort of reaction out of people. And I'll spend like a minute watching it and I'm like, why am I watching that? And some ad will be about to pop up and I'm like, why am I wasting my time for this person to make money off of me and blah,
Hmm.
blah, 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 when I could be doing so much more with this time. And
Exactly.
so I've been really kind of tempted to get rid of these apps, but I'm hooked, man.
Hmm.
I wish I did like my DP and invest in Facebook when right when that shit hit the market. Which I mean, people obviously knew some things were gonna that was gonna go up.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, Amazon has gone up. Dang, a lot because
insane.
everybody a lot of home shopping. Shopify did pretty well at the beginning. Right now it's on the downtrend, but Amazon and Tesla are the two like the ones that I've been watching. I'm like, holy crap, man!
Yeah,
Tesla is just it's the biggest auto maker company. Period. Like
yeah.
it surpassed everybody
Everybody.
within the month. Isn't that crazy?
Oh
But
yeah,
doesn't that tell you something? Is like the future is EV, electric vehicles.
absolutely.
I want a Tesla. It looks badass too.
Do you want a Tesla or a Tesla truck? Like what kind of segment?
That's a tough one. I've never been a truck guy, so I'm not gonna lie and say yes.
Yeah,
But it looks very
it
comfortable.
looks nice. Yeah,
It
low
looks
key.
very comfortable, and it reminds me of those Halo,
Oh
overalls.
yeah, that's true.
At some point somebody's gonna buy one, and if they're like pro gun or something, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna put a Gatling gun on top."
I don't know what kind of truck Alex Jones was driving recently,
Hmm.
but I know you could buy those, and those look pretty badass.
Oh, as far as like electric vehicle or just in general, like a
I
truck.
don't think it's electric, but if they made those that were electric, those would be pretty badass. Even if it's not electric, to be honest, like it's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember like I want to say like 8, almost 10 years ago, really. I remember seeing one of the Ford magazines, and they had a good 3, 4 page spread talking about electric vehicles and their plans to have electric charging stations, and they look pretty much like gas stations, but obviously no gas. And I was like, wow, that's insane. And then Tesla comes out and they're just like taking over the EV market. And I'm just like, what happened to Ford? Because I'm a big fan of the Mustang. Not a big fan of the Mach 5 that they're coming out with,
Oh
but
yeah,
I'm a fan of the.
they've electrified it, right? Is that the
Mhm.
right
Yeah, a whole electric vehicle. It's a Ford Mustang Mach 5, I want to say. And it came out, and I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I've always wanted a Ford Mustang, and I want an EV next. So it was a good combination. But then all of a sudden, like, oh, it's coming out in 2022 or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's pretty far. And then Tesla just like, oh yeah, we came out with Model XY, and then we have Model S, and we're coming out with Cybertruck in 2021. I'm just like, dude, you guys fell behind. I'm sorry, but the better man is winning.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a while for them to catch up if they ever even do. Um,
Yeah. So how long have you been watching the stocks? Because I'm still fairly new at it, but like learning all this stuff, like on all YouTube. What does this mean? The candles, uh, how to read the stock market, and it's really difficult because there's a lot of information to account for.
I mean, I'm so new to where I've just barely asked the question, "What is the stock market?" So I haven't even
Yeah.
done the I haven't even done research into it so much. It's just something that I'm like, oh, your money can make you more money, you know. So it's like, oh, that's a
Oh yeah.
smart thing to do when you get
Mm-hmm.
older. Oh, okay, so that's something I should do. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean that's one thing that I know I need to surround myself with people that are very knowledgeable with that, and so to do that. I mean, because you grow out of the phase of your friends that are drinking all the time and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. And it's time to get shit right. You know.
Yeah, and then later on, like 3 years down the road, you see them again, and they're like, "Hey, what have you been up to?" "Oh, I just work in the stock market," and you're driving your brand new Tesla.
Shit. There you go. Yeah, dude, or debt free at least. In my case,
Yeah, a lot.
that'd
Yeah, a
be nice.
lot of people. Yeah, I know. That's one milestone that I think once you get over that,
Shit, yeah,
oh man, it,
it's
it
so
feels
great.
so. Yeah, it feels so like liberating because I remember when I finally paid off all my stuff, and I have some credit cards now, but like nothing like how it was before, and I'm just like, it feels nice. It feels
Yeah,
nice not having to owe anything, and it almost gave you this weird like feeling of accomplishment every time you went out, and let's say your friends would purchase stuff with credit cards, but then you didn't want to put more debt in your life, so like you put the debit card, but you have money saved up,
that's true.
the
Yeah,
debit card. You don't have to worry about it. It's paid for. This dinner's paid for, but everybody else is paying for dinners or is putting dinners on the card that they're going to pay for a year from now again. You
yeah, or pay 3 times the price for.
Yeah,
It's true.
exactly. It's just so easy to slide that card. I mean, have you've been hearing the whole cash, the boycott on cash or something like
The
that, right? Like,
cashless society. Yeah,
cashless society where like grocery stores are starting to put up signs where it's like credit card or debit cards only.
yeah. Who really knows what's
I,
going on? I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
think we're just. I think one day we're just all going to be chipped, and we're all have our bank information in that chip, like on our wrist or
I
something,
hope
and then we're
not. It's gonna be
we're
so
gonna.
strange. I've already
I
kind of
know.
made the like, and I mean, it's just a cool film idea that if you kind of merge with technology, like
Hmm.
you're done. Like your kind of soul or entity or whatever is
Yeah.
now stuck here, and then this is hell technically, because then you will never be able to leave, or you'll never be able to pass on to the next kind of whatever we experience after this, you know.
Hmm.
And who knows? It's kind of an interesting. Oh, weird!
Well,
There's a knock at my door. No, but no, that's some trippy shit. Who knows?
yeah, it's hey, that's funny. See, it's interesting though because like even like some interviews with Elon Musk, he was talking about was like at some point we'll need we'll need technology to be a part of us, like the technologically advanced eyeball or something, just to be able to see the robots move around. Because you see how like these automakers are using like robots to put the car together and stuff like that. Like, what's stopping anybody from making something that will make a robot be able to like I don't know, take you apart in 2 seconds?
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah. Then they have already do
And
that.
so precise
Take off
too.
a limb. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I mean, you
Have
you
you
remember?
not
Did
bleeding at the same time? The
did
most
you ever
humane
see
killing.
what's it called? Passengers with Chris Pratt and oh, what's her name? Jennifer Lawrence.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they pretty much have this like super high tech ship, and they're pretty much colonizing similar planets that are like to Earth or whatever. So they send ships out, and everybody's like on hyper sleep or whatever it's called, or deep sleep, so that way they don't age until they get there, and
Nice.
or cryogenic. I think that's what I'm thinking about. But then like, they obviously in the trailer, I don't want to ruin it for you, but they woke up in accident, right? But when they had to go get medical attention, they just kind of sat in this like little tube, like it's a bed, and the computer did everything for them, and then all you have to do is depending on your clearance, what you want the machine to do. fix this, fix that. What's his condition? I'll read everything. At some point, we're gonna be able to do that because ambulances bring people who have been in car accidents or something, and the paramedics are trying to make some diagnosis before bringing him in. It's like, all right, well, he's been shot here, lacerated there, and then the doctor takes over. But in this machine, if they have it on the ambulance, they can start pretty much treating you right away. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that's insane.
No.
Hopefully things will get, yeah, with health especially, technology should improve. Hopefully costs will go down, but who knows?
Yeah, you'd think, dude. You'd hope. The
Oh,
technology I've always felt was supposed to make things cheaper, but I
yeah,
mean, look at those iPhones, man.
yeah.
They're getting more expensive, but yet I want the new one.
I need the new one. And my
I
phones have
need the
been
new one.
sucking. They've been sucking lately, and I don't know why. And I saw a memory in Facebook recently that
Hmm.
I've been having issues with iPhones ever since 2003, or not 2003, Jesus, 2013, 7 years ago. And so it's like, why am I still fucking with them? You know?
Hmm.
But I'm trapped in their ecosystem.
Yeah, I think they have a sort of really kind of like, okay, I don't know if this is a good metaphor, but you know how McDonald's used to have like the clown and the commercials and the play area for when they went to the actual fast food restaurant. It was like sort of subconsciously trying to convince the kid make the kid think this is normal for when they grow up.
Yeah,
I feel like that's what
absolutely.
happened with Apple products, the iPad. Everybody was listening to music, feeling good, expressing yourself, and all of a sudden the phone came out.
It's yeah,
I mean,
but
it's revolutionary. It's
yeah,
revolutionary. The first iPhone's insane. I remember
absolutely.
I've rewatched that video of Steve Jobs introducing the iPhone like 3 times already. But like by now, you're like, all right, everybody's used to the smartphone, so why do we keep getting new ones? Why don't we just build one that will last forever?
Really,
Like the Nokia.
yeah, something. Those phones were meant to last forever. Um, but I mean, I got to hold the Samsung Fold in my
Hmm.
hand, or which one was or Samsung Flip? I think it was the Flip. Yeah, the vertical one. That was badass. Because I mean, it's just like the Razor, but you flip it open and it's all screen.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Oh yeah.
that yeah, that was um, beautiful phone. But in terms of just iPhone, I don't know, man. It's all stuck. I think they're gonna go back to the iPhone 5 kind of, or iPhone 4 even, the squared off design on the
Yeah, I
side,
saw that. Hmm.
and I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I think because these weird, like I have the X now and I had the 7 Plus prior, and nothing was wrong with them. I just when the new phone came out, I wanted the new one, and then I told myself after the X, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be that person. So I skipped out on 11, and then 6S and 6 Plus came out at the same time for some weird reason. But I've noticed that they're very slippery if you don't have a phone case. In even when you have a phone case, it's like there's only so much, so many designs you can go with it. But I like the squared off stuff. I don't know if it's just because we're reverting back to it and it feels new, but
Maybe,
I think I'm gonna like it. It's like these cars today. You know how like they're nice and smooth and not boxy. At some like 5-10 years from now, watch they're gonna come out with cars that are more boxy again, like the
maybe, yeah,
Crown
you're right.
Crown Vic.
Maybe, yeah.
There's always
We
that
kind of always go back and
retro.
forth. Yeah,
Yeah,
we do always kind of go back and forth as a species and things to advance on. We
yeah.
move, but yeah, it's strange. It's just crazy. This series of events, this whole year has just been screwed,
Hmm.
you know. But it's all good.
Yeah, I know it's funny. There's a lot of like references to the New Year's Eve from 2019 to 2020. It was like 2020 is gonna be my year. Shut down, literally.
Yeah, just no bueno. It's all
No.
crazy, but hopefully, it really sucks is the governor just shut down everything else again today. The hair salons and churches and everything. And so I wish
Yeah,
I had a haircut.
yeah.
Damn. It's
Oh,
all right.
just hey, just get some clippers and go number two on the whole head. You'll be fine.
Oh wow, number two. Oh
Real
no.
short. Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about it for a couple months.
Shit. We'll see
Yeah.
if it does get that bad. Yeah.
Well, we've reached about 55 minutes, man. Pretty good combo, if I say so myself.
I think
Yeah.
so. Cool. Yeah,
When
it
you
was
get a
fun.
chance,
Not too
send me the
bad.
link to your podcast. I want to take a listen.
I absolutely will. Yeah, it's available on. I do it through Anchor as
Hmm.
well, and so it's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all
For
those
for
places.
Anchor, do you use your
Um,
computer or your phone?
um, so I use. I typically like to record through the headphones because I did multiple tests and all these
Yeah.
kinds of things. I The wired headphones typically work best. I found.
Yeah.
Like even my AirPods, I found didn't sound as good as the actual wired-in headphones that Apple gives
Hmm.
you. And so I used to have an adapter for my phone. Unfortunately, I think a friend kind of swiped it out of my room,
Oh, the dongle.
or I lost it. Either way, yeah, the dongle. And so, or I lost it. Either way,
Yeah.
it just happened to. I just happened to lose it in a space that I never move it from. But the I used to record straight to
Hmm.
the phone, and then I would send it, because it stores in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Anchor
yeah.
library. I would download it from that into Premiere, and then I would add a quick, like a
Hmm.
denoiser, and it would kind of like really kind of clean up the audio really well and like real quick too, like to the entire track. And also to kind of speed things up, I would go through and cut out all of the long pauses, kind of like
Hmm.
that. And even like the uhs and like, things like that, I would always cut out. And I think that's really it. And I know if I have like an intro saved, I have all these things saved. Towards the end, I started to add 2 ads per
Hmm.
episode. Kind of, I would do an intro and then add an ad and then do the show and then an ad and then an outro. So I mean, yeah, there's just kind of ways that the Anchor web app is kind of really
Hmm.
finicky. I kind of learned that I had to rename files multiple different times because for some reason in the Anchor app it shows people the file name and not like the specific album artwork that you have set for that episode or
Right.
for the show. And so I would specifically title the episode or the clip something, that way it always looks
Yeah.
good. And then, of course, too, since it's in Premiere, I would throw in the title or the artwork that I would create for that episode and make clips or even upload the whole thing onto YouTube.
Hmm. So you record videos too, or you mean you take the sound bite or the sound?
Just the
I
audio.
We're gonna have to
Yeah.
like talk about this later too because I want to learn how to do that because I don't have anything on my YouTube channel right now, and I like this conversation. I want to be able to like put a picture on it, and then because a lot of people do use YouTube as their sound, their audio. They make playlists.
Yeah,
I pay the
absolutely.
$13 myself because I found some pretty good stuff like motivational videos that I like to listen to, but I don't want to keep the screen on kind of thing, and it was funny
Oh,
because
sure.
I was thinking to myself, like, man, why don't they come up with some way like I can turn off the screen, I can still hear the audio. A couple months later, guess what they introduced? That that
Of course, a way to
the
pay for
premium,
it.
yeah. But
There's ways to work around it too, but too repetitive shit. But if you just pay for it,
yeah,
it's always good.
yeah,
Yeah. But I don't know if you have Premiere or any kind of editing software. I'm sure it could work in Final Cut or whichever one you have for free.
yeah, yeah. Any tips you have for me as far as making the videos? I'm more than happy to take a look at that because that'd be awesome, and I can make videos off of the audio clips and go from there.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
appreciate it, man.
I'm always an Instagram message away.
Okay.
And if anybody, wants to check out my podcast, it's Film Directing with Matt Macedo. You can follow me on Instagram at Matt Macedo, and and that's about it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk soon.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me on. Cool, man. Okay,
Bye.
chat soon.
Thanks once again for listening to Miguel's Moment Shelter and Home Edition. Stay tuned for more, and stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Drink water. Lots of fluids. And I'll see you guys on the other side.